This is the year 616. Something is about to happen in the streets of Mecca. People whisper among themselves, asking one another, did this really happen, spreading confusion and fear. It feels as if even the angels are standing still watching this scene unfold. At the center of all this commotion, a powerful figure is approaching, drawing every gaze. From the start of the road, with an impressive 2-meter-tall physique, he walks forward. He walks with dignity and authority, his fearlessness such that no one imagines standing before him. In the blessed words of the Prophet, whenever Satan sees him walking a path, he abandons it. He is heading toward the Kaaba, and in a loud, commanding voice he announces, "I bear witness that there is no God but Allah, and Muhammad is the messenger." This declaration is a direct challenge to the idol worshippers and their leaders, shaking Mecca deeply. For the first time, the voice of a Muslim is echoing so loudly in Mecca streets. The leaders stand stunned, realizing this moment threatens their long-held authority and influence. People whisper in disbelief, asking, has he also become Muslim, if true Muslims are no longer helpless? His father was chief of the Banu Adi clan of Quraysh, and he received strong education. He was intelligent and physically powerful, defeating the finest wrestlers, earning respect and fear in Mecca. In the early years, Islam was preached secretly, believers invited quietly, and faith remained hidden. Meetings were held where leaders decided each clan would imprison, beat and torture new believers. He tied Muslims of his clan and beat them until exhaustion, believing he was right. Oppression became unbearable, so some Muslims took permission and began migrating to Abyssinia for safety. By that time his heart grew weary of cruelty, and he began sensing something wrong. One night he sees a man praying near the Kaaba and wonders what he is reciting. Filled with curiosity, he moves closer quietly, listening carefully so no one notices his presence. The recitation is from Surah Al-Haqqah, and the words immediately begin affecting his heart. By Allah, just as Quraysh say, this sounds like poetry, not revelation spoken by a messenger. Suddenly the recited verse declares, it is not the word of a poet, little do you believe. Then perhaps he is a sorcerer controlling minds with words, hidden meanings and unseen forces. Another verse follows, saying, it is not the word of a soothsayer, little do you reflect. Every verse answers his thoughts, shaking him deeply and planting the first seeds of faith. Despite this impact, he still believes the message is dividing families and breaking social unity. A prayer is made asking Allah to strengthen Islam through the one he loves more. The next morning, the leaders gather again, fearful yet determined to end this growing movement. Whoever ends this man, I will reward him greatly, regardless of blood or consequences. Despite knowing revenge will follow, he accepts the task, prepared to face death. He arms himself and departs, believing this path may end his life. Young, powerful, wealthy and respected, he still walks forward, ready to sacrifice everything. Where are you going with a sword? Your face shows rage and urgency. I am going to stop the one causing division and mocking our traditions openly. You misjudge this path. Do you think his people will spare you afterward? Turn back and look at your own household. They have already followed this path. Hearing this, he halts briefly, then rushes fiercely toward his family home. He arrives at his sister home, anger burning inside, unaware his fate is about to change. Inside the house, quiet recitation is happening, verses being taught softly away from hostile eyes. Hearing approaching footsteps, the teacher hides quickly, and the recited pages are concealed. What were those words I just heard? Tell me the truth immediately. His anger explodes, grabbing the man violently and throwing him down without restraint. When she intervenes, he strikes her and blood appears, yet her resolve remains firm. What you heard is true. I have rejected the false gods. I believe in the one God. He stormed towards his sister's house, fury guiding his steps, a drawn sword in his hand. He heard the sound of recitation, a sound that was foreign. He burst through the door, his eyes blazing. What was that I heard? He demanded. His brother-in-law, terrified, tried to explain, but the man's rage was a storm. He struck him down. His sister rushed to protect her husband, and in the chaos his hand struck her. She fell, her face bleeding. Seeing the blood on his sister's face, a sudden stillness fell over him. The sight of her, defiant and bleeding for her belief, stopped his rage cold. The gravity of his actions hit him like a physical blow. He saw not a traitor, but his own sister, hurt by his own hand. Give me what you were reading, he said, his voice now quiet, the anger gone, replaced by something he couldn't name. I promise I will return it to you." His sister, still wiping the blood from her face, looked at him with newfound strength. "You are not pure," she told him. "Go and cleanse yourself, only then are you worthy to touch these words." He didn't argue. He went and performed the cleansing, washing away not just the dust of the road but the fire of his anger. He felt a strange sense of preparation, a readiness for something unknown. When he returned, clean and composed, she handed him the pages. He took them, not with the arrogance of a warrior, but with a gentle reverence that surprised even himself. He began to read. The words flowed from the page, speaking not of threats but of mercy. "We have not sent down this message to you to cause you distress," the first line read, "but only as a reminder for those who fear God." The verses spoke of a magnificent power, the one who created the earth and the high heavens, the most merciful, established above the throne, far beyond any human comprehension or power. As he read, he felt the hardness in his heart, a shield he had worn for years begin to crack. The verses described a universe governed by a single, compassionate Lord to whom belongs everything in the heavens and on the earth. Each word was like a drop of water on stone, slowly, steadily, wearing away his resistance. "How beautiful and how noble are these words," he whispered to himself, his eyes wide with wonder. He felt a profound sense of truth, a feeling that nothing he had ever known could compare to the majesty contained in these simple pages. From a hiding place within the house, the teacher who had been instructing them emerged. He had witnessed the entire scene, from the violent rage to this quiet, stunning transformation. A smile spread across his face. "There is good news for you," he said. "I heard the messenger pray to God, asking that faith be strengthened by one of two men. It seems that prayer has been answered through you." A new fire ignited in the man's heart, not of anger, but of purpose. "Tell me where he is," he demanded, his voice filled with an urgent need. "I must go to him now." With his heart completely transformed, he set out, the same sword at his side, but now for a different cause. He walked with a new determination, not to harm, but to submit. Meanwhile, in a quiet house nearby, a small group of believers were gathered around their prophet. They were cautious, always aware of the dangers that surrounded them. Suddenly, a firm, heavy knock echoed through the house, shaking the door on its frame. Everyone froze. One of them peeked outside and gasped in terror. He saw the very man they feared most, armed and standing at their doorstep. Fear rippled through the room. They knew his reputation for cruelty and his fierce opposition to their faith. But their leader, the messenger of God, remained calm. His face showed no fear, only a steady resolve. "Open the door," he commanded. "Let him in. If he comes with good, we will welcome it. If he comes with evil, we will deal with him by the will of God." The door opened. The two men stood face to face, the warrior tall and imposing, and the prophet serene and unshakable. The tension in the room was so thick you could feel it. The prophet walked forward, took hold of the man's cloak firmly and pulled him close. "What has brought you here?" he asked, his voice powerful and direct. Looking directly into the prophet's eyes, the man's voice rang out with a clarity that stunned everyone present. "I have come to declare that there is no God but Allah, and that you are his messenger." For a moment, there was silence. Then, a wave of overwhelming joy and relief washed over the believers. The sound of a single powerful cry erupted. "Allahu Akbar! God is the greatest!" The cry was taken up by everyone in the house, a thunderous echo of joy and triumph that seemed to shake the very foundations. Their greatest persecutor had become their brother. A great strength had just joined their ranks. The newly converted man looked at the prophet, his spirit soaring. "Are we not upon the truth?" he asked, "whether we live or whether we die?" "Yes," the prophet replied. "By the one in whose hand is my soul, you are upon the truth, whether you live or die." "Then why do we hide?" the man declared, his voice booming with newfound conviction. "Why do we pray in secret when we stand upon the truth given to us by God?" In that moment, a decision was made. The time for hiding was over. They would no longer practice their faith in the shadows. They formed two rows, with the new convert leading one, and another strong companion leading the other, and they walked out into the open streets of the city. They marched together, heading for the sacred house, the Kaaba, their steps firm, their heads held high. For the very first time, The believers prayed openly right in front of everyone without fear. The powerful chiefs of the city watched in disbelief and anger. They saw the man they had once counted on as their champion, now standing as a protector for the very people he once hunted. They understood, in that moment, that the balance of power had shifted forever. The warrior once feared for his cruelty became a symbol of unwavering justice. The man who once sought to extinguish the light of this new faith became one of its brightest beacons. From that day forward, his coming to Islam was a victory, his presence was a mercy, and his legacy would become a source of strength for generations to come. Thank you for watching. If this story moved you, please like, share, and subscribe for more content that inspires.